Happy Wednesday, everybody in the You Are Worthy Network. So excited to be with you today. I'm excited to introduce you to a new friend, an amazing entrepreneur. But even if she wasn't an entrepreneur, an amazing person. But before we get to that, if you're new to watching the You Are Worthy Network, you may be saying, what's this all about? And I'm going to try to briefly, I'm a preacher, so sometimes I say briefly, forgive me if I go long. I'm going to try. What is the You Are Worthy Network? I created this to give you a shot of hope, to give you a reminder that wherever you're at on the journey, your story is not over yet. You've got amazing chapters left that you know nothing about yet. You know how I know that? Because I've lived it. Adena's lived it. And today's a gift that you have one more day to pursue all those dreams that you have on your heart, all those wonderful things. And you know what else that I get to remind you of every time we go live? You don't become worthy when all those things that you're working towards come true. All those prayers are answered. You're worthy right here, right now. Keep doing that. Keep praying, keep achieving, but you're worthy right now. And all that stuff in the past, that ugly stuff, that emotional stuff, those wilderness seasons, lots of compassion for that. But you know what? You were worthy then too. Maybe the enemy told you different. Your emotions surely told you different. But the fact is, you were worthy then. How about that for some encouragement? That's why we're here. And to bring you guests that have achieved amazing things in their life. Oh yeah, we want to highlight that. But also what they've overcome. Also, they had seasons when they didn't feel worthy and they persevered, they overcame, and they can give us a little shot of encouragement so we can keep going too. That's why we're here. Okay. Enough about that. I want to tell you about my friend, Adena Sampson, founder of Out Loud Productions and the Unbreakable Spirit Movement, is a breakthrough coach, inspirational speaker, singer, songwriter, and award-winning best-selling author. Having overcome the insurmountable, Adena leads by example, teaching us how to turn challenges into victories, inspiring us to live a more authentic, courageous, and passionate life. A gifted speaker, MC, narrator, and presenter from workshops to seminars, voiceovers to jingles to commercials and broadcasting, Adena has offered extraordinary customer service and representation for many professional associations, including a number of Fortune 500 companies. An entrepreneur at heart, Adena has an extensive background in event management, media, marketing, sales, and has built and trained solid teams. Adena made her mark in the network marketing industry as a high performance leader with an online technology company ranking in the top 40 of 20,000 and was responsible for the growth and expansion of over 500 affiliates. As an accomplished singer-songwriter, guitarist, and producer, Adena has graced the stage across the globe and has had the opportunity to open up for Patti LaBelle, Wayne Newton, Jim Brickman, Nils Lofgren, and more. A born traveler with a love for adventure and a passion for life. A woman that sings from her soul with a gritty, raw power and passion rarely heard today. No matter the medium, with her vibrant energy, radiant smile, and engaging sense of humor, Adena is sure to inspire and add color to your event. Adena, welcome to the You Are Worthy Network.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here, Steve.
I actually, when I was reading that, recognized three of the four artists that you've shared the stage with. One I did not.
Oh, now the question is, which one?
Which is the one I did not recognize? It was the last one. I do not know Nils Lofgren.
I mean, just stellar. Again, a long, long time ago. Just started off that way.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
So, so tell me this: what's it like on the receiving end of hearing someone read your bio like that?
That is a great question. Often because I found myself on the other end where you are at, interviewing amazing guests like you do. Again, taking their pain to purpose, right? Serving a community. You are worthy network in your case, courage to thrive community in my case, where we are being that example. And like yourself, I really want to honor the guests I bring on and introduce them accordingly. And I get a few of them saying to me, wow, Adena, thank you so much. Or some of them are just kind of stunned. They're not sure how to take it in or receive it. And it's been a little while, so thank you for having me be on the other end to have that experience. This time around, I am taking it in. I am grateful. It also allows me to step back and go, wow, yes, I have. I think that we tend to forget along the journey of life, with all of life's unexpected twists and turns, how far we've come, where we've,
Mm,
especially those who are forward thinkers. Often we're on to the next thing, right? A big part of what I like to do for others, celebrate the small wins. Easier said than done for ourselves, right? Easier to do that for others, often not as easy to do it
yeah.
for ourselves. So, yes, and thank you. And, again, just kind of also for someone who's so committed to her growth, there's different versions of yourselves, right? Different versions of who you are and how you show up in your life. So it's just a gentle reminder, a nice reminder for me as to where I've been. And also, I don't hold, like you say, grateful for the accolades, and yet that's really irrelevant. And I say that because it's not what we're doing, it's who we're being, it's how we're showing up. Life, I believe it's important to shift our perspective on how we measure success. And so, as grateful as I am, and even though I'm forward thinking and aligning myself to my highest timeline and how I can serve the best, allowing myself to just be me in all facets of self, all the versions, whether that was on stage or behind the scenes, whether that's inspiring because I'm on top of the world or I'm down in the dumps because I think it's all relative. And especially if you've been through hell and back. So I know that's a long winded answer. I'm very shy, as
This
you can tell, and not passionate at all.
this is fascinating. So I feel prompted to do something I usually don't do at this stage in the interview, but I'm going to roll with it. So yeah, I know. I'm thinking of the Stevie Winwood song, "Just Roll with It, Baby."
Yes.
Showing my age. Um, I want you to describe your journey thus far. Now, this is going to be a challenge, but I know you'll do well with this. Up from birth until say recently, say in the last few months. So pretty much current. How would you describe your journey using just three descript words? I know, right? I know.
This is good. I love this question. We'll see what happens. Inspiring for sure. Okay, that's the first word. My unique ability. Again, it doesn't matter where I'm at on the journey and what's happened. The reflection has been that my journey has been an inspiration. Let's start there. Now that that's out of the way.
Get that one out of the way.
Three descriptive
I
words.
definitely I definitely threw you a curveball, so thank you for playing along.
No, this is fun. And again, I really appreciate it. I like to be in the moment and be present in this day and age. That is rare, a big part of
Yeah.
what is important. Again, there's so much we can do as entrepreneurs and be productive when we are present and not somewhere else. So I've never been asked this question before, which is also what I love. So from birth, who remembers that? I'm amazed when
Yeah.
people do. Adventurous. That's the second word. Hey, I like this. Inspiring, adventurous, deep is coming. Again, this is coming
Ooh.
through me, right? So whether if I think too hard about it, I'm going to go a different direction. Deep. So maybe not as descriptive as inspiring and adventurous, but a lot of depth to my journey, not surface at all. So deep, adventurous, inspiring. What do you think?
I like it. I like it. Now that you've had some practice, this might come back into play later. We'll see.
Sure.
We'll see. So let's go back in time a little bit. Not all the way back to birth. Let's go back to senior year in high school.
Okay.
Okay.
Do my
Two
best.
week two weeks are left. Okay. I like to get inside 17 and 18-year-old mindsets. I have a son who is 17 that graduates at the end of next week, like 10 days from now. And so
Congratulations.
mindset, thank you, thank you. Um, were you that young lady 2 weeks left? Okay, we got the cap, we got the gown, maybe you've got the class ring, you've got the day on the poster board or calendar, you're marking them off, you've got it circled. I wouldn't be surprised if Adena is the lady that's in charge of getting the beach ball, or at least getting the beach ball started that day at the ceremony. I don't know. But are you busting to get out of there? Senioritis to the max. You've already got a job. You're going to keep that job that summer. You know what you're going to do in the fall. You got it mapped out. Or on the other end of the spectrum, I guess I better get a job. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to need some money. I'm a little scared to get out of the security of this place. I'm going to miss this place. Or are you somewhere in between? There is no right or wrong answer. I'm just trying to figure out where you were.
Okay, this will be fun. I'll give you a little. I don't remember much. I'm going to say that ahead of time. And I think that's important as we weave the story and converse further along, due to some of my journey that we have yet to, bring into the space. If we're going to 17, again, that's a good ways back. I grew up fast as an oldest of three, two younger sisters. Grateful, thankful, blessed. I was in Connecticut at the time, high school. You know, as you can tell, I've always been a dreamer. I've always been a doer. At the time, 17, a lot of shifts in my mindset. That's actually when it started for me, thinking outside the box at that time, reading certain books, and that shifted my perspective on what is possible in life. I was in theater at the time, doing musical theater, lead roles. That's kind of what took place at that point. Went to college right away. I actually went to Berklee College of Music, got a scholarship. So if you want to know what's happening right after, that time, something that I decided that I wanted to do what I loved, and didn't really want to go the usual route. I would say at the time I'm not sure if I felt so much as of an outcast at the time. I just was always a little different, right? Uh, Initially, that's not always a pleasant experience until you really own it, right? And accept that role as to why you think differently and why you're doing things differently. As far as the beach ball, no, uh, you know, like I said, I didn't hate high school, but it wasn't like I just loved it. And I don't remember a lot of that, part of my life. I remember we had a student, like an acre space where we had different houses, for the actual high school itself. And I just remembered it was quite large for a high school. I think we had like 500 people graduating in our class, I think, at that time.
Okay.
I tend to make friends with everyone in different classes and groups and whatever it is that we were calling each other back then, houses, all that jazz. I was someone that was really interested in, getting to know who you were, and no matter what your status or what you were into. I'm not sure if that helps you any, or gives you what
It
you were looking
does.
to get.
It does because oh, something you said early on in that dialogue. I'm a dreamer. I couldn't help but think of Motley Crue, "Home Sweet Home." The first
Nice.
people are like, "What's he quoting?" Yeah, I'm a dreamer.
I was gonna say
Uh,
you got to sing it out
yeah,
loud and
you
proud.
see, you don't want me to do
Oh,
that.
please.
You
It's
you you will
cathartic.
you will pay me not to do that.
I love it. I
Although I
love
try sometimes. So okay, music was obviously a vital part.
it. A big part
What
of
did you
my
want to do
healing.
with it? Tell us what you wanted to do with it specifically at that age, and who were some of your influences?
It's so odd because at that age is so different to where I'm at now, and my thoughts and who I am. I was very blessed to have parents who supported the arts because they didn't have it. They came from broken homes. They didn't have the opportunity to do so. So I'm extremely grateful for the fact that I had that. And also because I had an outlet growing up to write music, to be in that space when you're going through the, how do I say, dynamics of dysfunction and familial aspects that come to play, or at least came to play for myself. I believe it does for many, no matter who you are and how blessed you are, right? There's these nuances. And so I was blessed to have an outlet that if something happened or I got in a fight with my father, I could just go write a song about it and then sing it, right? And so it was a big part of that, really took a lot of my angst and some of what I was dealing with and gave me a voice and gave me a vehicle to share that, right? At the time, I would say when I was 17, I wanted to be famous, whatever that looked like. That is not in any way, shape, or form in alignment with where I'm at now and my beliefs. And yet, at the time, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I love. This is what I am talented at. And I don't really want to waste time doing anything else that doesn't drive me forward. Again, always passionate, very, talented. And I'm not saying that from an ego space. I'm saying that from what I was blessed with, my innate ability, one of my innate abilities. My voice is the ability. I know that now, whether I'm singing, writing, speaking, right? Again, that unique ability has expanded into other dimensions and aspects for what we bring forth. And at the time, the music is really what, I guess it's always what's really saved my life. And again, comes through you, very much like the work I do as a coach, the intuition aspect, right? That it's not of me, it comes through me. And so that was just the beginning of the journey as to what's next.
By the way, in the flow of dialogue, you said blessed, thankful, and no, blessed, thankful, and grateful. I think you said
Grateful,
maybe.
thankful, blessed. Did I say
See,
that?
see,
Right.
you had the three words and didn't even know it.
Well, you see?
It's I
And
put you on the spot, but when it's in the natural flow, it was there, right?
but it's true because when I work with clients, it comes through me often. I have to scribble things down because otherwise I won't recall it because it's
Oh
not
yeah,
of me. Like I said, it's
yeah.
coming through me. So thank you for that reflection.
So at this stage of life, is it singer songwriter solo artist? Is it I'm going to lead a band? What was your thoughts?
At that stage,
Hmm.
uh, yes, and you'll hear me say that a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, at the time, those, yeah, no, 17 was more singer songwriter, was my original
Okay.
music. So, yes, thank you for clarifying and allowing me to remember as you ask.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, singer guitarist, right? Songwriter at the time. Uh, you know, albums. I used to sing also with my two younger sisters, three-part harmony, almost like back in the day with the Andrews sisters, stuff that you hadn't heard in a while. Dixie Chicks, around the time of the Dixie Chicks, right? Uh, that was, and they were so talented. Again, our capacity to even do that as a family. Now that you mentioned family, this is a nice, good piece of it. Um, that was a blessing as well at the time. You know, uh,
Yeah.
Three-part harmony and doing that. So it was multifaceted, with also the stage shows at the time. And then, just continued into, we made a few albums, one with my sister, couple with my sisters, one with myself.
Nice.
Yeah, a few years after that, right? I think
Yeah.
up until 21 or something. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So tell us, and I'm sure there's pieces of life that I will not get to today,
Yeah.
but we're talking about 2021 right now. What happens between then and the what's the word I want to use? The content that becomes the road back. And what is the road back? Does that make sense?
Sure, that has not, though, come through. That was, many years after that. I mean,
Exactly.
you know, that was 6 years ago, meaning truly where a huge 6 years ago was my major turning point. So we know we have a lot of aha moments, breakthroughs along the way, which is what I'm hearing you ask. Almost like a timeline, it's never just one breakdown to breakthrough moment, is it? Right?
Nope.
It is multifaceted in nature. And even for those of us that might have been, and I say early starters, just on fire and rearing to go, there's moments and times that, at least for me, um, everything had to stop. Everything fell apart. Everything had to come crashing down in order for me to truly understand and see clearly on the path. So, again, when you ask about 21, I really couldn't answer you because of where I've gone with my journey and fighting for my life and everything that's happened since. I don't remember a lot of my past. It keeps me very present. But because of some of the cognitive issues and health issues that I navigated through later in life, I don't remember a lot, maybe as someone might who can remember every moment of every segment of their life. I am just not that person, right? I am grateful for the dances I've had and the people in my life. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason and that, there's always something I can learn from it. So I'm grateful for that. And yet I've been very discerning now in my life as to who I choose to sit on my table, and how I'm now living my life versus the way I once did. Have I always had an awareness? Sure. Was I always excited about and into personal development? Yes. But it wasn't until really 2020, getting out of a relationship and COVID, that I really realized I was giving away my power, which wouldn't have really been forefront for anyone else or myself to see prior to. It was very subtle, I guess. I don't know if that answers your question. And yet, that's the most honest, authentic answer I can give you.
I'm sensing that 2020, because of the two examples you gave, was a for lack of a better description, a rock bottom year experience. Would that be accurate?
Yes, and so really, it started back in 2008 when we had the crash.
Hmm.
Right, initially, when I was doing the network marketing, the aspects that you had, alluded to earlier on in the introduction, when we had everything coming down, economically, right? So again, many different facets of when things took place. But yes, 2020 was a big pivotal year for me, and yet a big part of my journey with my health and where I learned a lot started back in 2008. So, and then I have to figure out how old I was in 2008. I
I
mean,
was going to
I
say we
have it in
might
my
have
book
some.
somewhere, right?
I was going to say we might have some viewers that don't know exactly what happened in 2008.
I mean, at this point, we're here now. We're still standing. But yeah, it
Yeah.
really, if you want to know, I'll just paint the picture as to what happened in 2008 and bring it back to 2020 so you understand how everything that I have birthed, what
Yeah.
I've taken, right, from my
There you
pain to
go.
purpose and how I'm serving, is that what would be beneficial to your audience at this time?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how the road back was birthed.
So that's where it was, so I can tell you if you'd like.
Okay, that'd be
And
great.
it's not, again, short, sweet, concise, but I can do it in the best way possible.
Sure.
So let's go back to 2008. Everything came crashing down economically, right? And so did I. At the time, it seemed as if I was doing well. Again, my relationships, my health, my business. And when everything came crashing down, so did I. And I ended up in the hospital. At the time, I had four nurses, two on either side, try to stick me with an IV 7 different times before it took. No joke.
Mm.
I paint the picture because, yes, it's an emotional story. Yes, it's a true story and excruciating, right? Again, my story is one of chronic illness, excruciating heartbreak, financial devastation, a 12-year journey that had me fighting for my life. And again, I don't say that lightly, Steve. That was
Wow.
just the picture of where I remember that moment began was in the ICU, right? With four different nurses trying to stick me 7 different times before it took. The message, which I think you'll appreciate as in the work that you do as a man of God, was that I, in that moment, loud and clear, are you willing to die for this, right? Again, hearing a message from God, from the universe, whatever it is your beliefs are, whoever's watching, right? I knew in that moment the message was loud and clear. How many times do you have to be pricked before you bleed? Okay. How many times?
Wow.
And for me at the time, or at least part of my journey, was that I, at the time, was in a long term relationship with someone that I loved and adored and thought was going to be my life partner. And ended up going home with a PICC line in my arm. We ended up getting in a fight. He stormed out. And I remember dropping to my knees. The doctors did not know what was going on at this time, if you can imagine. I'm being tested for all types of things. Nobody knows. But I tell you what I did know. In that moment, as I fell to my knees, the first thought was something was so wrong, I felt like I was going to die. Now, I never felt this way before. This was the first time. And by the way, it's happened many times after this date in 2008. This was the first time. And I knew in that moment that if I didn't choose myself, I wasn't going to make it. When he stormed out, that was a message. It wasn't meant to be. There was something that I had to learn from this. And again, I guess previously to this, just to fill you in here, Steve, um, I I wasn't used to choosing me. I wasn't sure what that was. Okay. Again, an overgiver, someone who gave from empty cups. Okay. That's the best way I can say this, right? And so this was a moment that completely shifted the trajectory of my life. This was a breakdown, a breakthrough moment. Yeah. Not the only one, but a very pivotal one for me. Now, the journey after that, again, it's a long and winding road, the road back to me, hence getting back to the truth of who it is I am, the work that we do, right? Getting people to remember the truth of who it is they are without the masks, without the status quo, without all of the stuff we've been taught and told as far as whether you are good enough, whether you are worthy, which again is so right on to why we're here on the You Are Worthy Network.
Yep.
The journey brought with it much pain, and yet it also yielded many gifts. For me, in particular, I really learned through the pain that the love I was seeking externally at the time, which I wasn't aware of, was within me, right? When it came down to life or death, again, many times over, the only choice I had was to choose me. Now, this is not an easy conversation to have depending on what your beliefs are, because often we're taught, oh, it's all about you, it's ego, it's narcissistic. Bullshit. And again, pardon my language, and yet no, because I'm authentic. I know we've talked about this before. I hope that that's okay. That we have to call a spade a spade. We have to shift our perspective. So the road back to me was born a long time ago in my own road to recovery, right? The road back to me is a roadmap to recovery and healing from my personal experience. Again, I didn't realize that I had created some of these problematic dynamics and some of these perpetual experiences through my unconscious, core beliefs, which many of us do, right? So in order to heal, I had to take my power back. I didn't realize I was giving it away. Again, in the subtle ways I was doing it. I had to strengthen my mindset. I had to understand that things were not happening to me, they were happening for me. And again, we've heard it before. It sounds cliche. And yet, this is what I was being given. This was what God wanted me to do, right? This is what the universe was saying. Hey, pay attention, right? Things need to shift. And since then, I've taken everything that I've learned about thriving in the face of adversity, of turning adversity into opportunity, and I've been sharing it with others as a roadmap to recovering and healing, and really the ability to transform their lives. Again, I guess coming from a person who understands the unknown, the uncertain, going through so many transitions in my own life, I think now more than anything in this time, in this day and age, we are in uncertain times. And it's not that we haven't been before, but now more than I think any of us have yet to experience in our lifetime. So now what? How can we get and support you to learn how to dance in the rain, right? How can we build your resilience, your bounce back? And that's just the beginning of the story in 2008. I know I haven't gotten to 2020 yet, although I thought I'd pause so that you could reflect back and let me know if I'm on the right track here for you, if this is what you wanted to
Oh,
portray or
I,
not.
no, I love where we're going. So let's focus on one thing in particular that you said in the mindset arena,
Sure.
and use that as a springboard to do two things. I'll give you the quote in a minute. Um, we want to get to 2020, and here's how we're going to do it. So you said this is not happening to me. This is happening for me. Now, I will say at 57 years old, I just learned the meaning of that quote about a year ago. And I've embraced it, and it helps drive almost everything I do now. But for somebody listening today or the next several weeks that will hear this, give us the Cliff Notes version of what that means and how that comes into play later in 2020. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I love it. Again, why did I speak that line into fruition today specifically without even knowing that that meant so much to you? Again, we're here in the space with our intention. Our intention is so powerful. So when we talk about you are worthy, and I'll get to answering your question here in a second, we have to understand that we are more powerful than we allow ourselves or that we give ourselves credit for. Now, for me, it's a co creative process, one with source. I used to be, back in the day, thought I was driving the ship, Steve, right? Maybe you've been there, maybe you haven't, but a lot of us often maybe think that we are, right? We're out on our lonesome and this is where we're at. And if we don't, how do I say, survive or stress, or I wasn't surviving, I was merely existing, Steve, when I was fighting for my life, right? I don't say that lightly. And again, misdiagnosed for years and years and years and years after that, hence why it wasn't just 2008. So that line, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. Sure, we all knew about it. I knew about it. I had taken hoodoo, voodoo, you do. What I mean by that is being on the journey, part of even the new age community. All of it is wonderful until we meet, or I believe we come up against a wall. We come up against our own self-righteousness. um, Accepting my own humanness has been a big part of the journey. So realizing that I had high expectations. And again, it's a yes and the contrast is where the work lies, is where the bounce back happens, is where the journey to recovery begins. When we understand that, we can say it, it sounds cliche, and I understand why. And especially when we are in a place that is dark. And I think it's important to speak to that because whether you're going through a divorce, whether you've just lost your loved one, okay, and you're in mourning, whether you're an empty nester, whether you're in a career transition, I could go on and on.
Yep.
This is who we serve, right? Those in transitions, people who are facing crisis and major life transitions of all sorts, right? That are stuck at a crossroads, that are self doubting, that are unsure, that are stuck in their fears. We all are, no matter how far we've come, where you've been. It's just that there's certain points in our lives that we are being asked to assess, reevaluate, shift our perspective to. And I had so many experiences that were just calling to me to shift it. There was a moment in time long after 2008 that I thought I wasn't going to recover from, that I thought it made more sense, Steve, to leave. And what I mean by that is I was in pain 24/7. My brain was on fire, right? For so long and misdiagnosed so long. I couldn't function. You couldn't have a conversation with me midway through this journey. Okay. Maybe about 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, I wasn't available to be the version of me that I was at 17, that I was pretty much up until, I guess, 30. I'm 47 now. Um, Again, I feel like I've lived many lifetimes within this lifetime. And again, saying this even on your network for a reason, to bring other awareness to our mindset, to our ability to believe what we choose to believe, and understanding that belief can. So again, coming back to, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. That's a choice. So let me be clear. We can choose and re-choose at any given moment. So often when we have a bad day or something happens, many of us can go down the rabbit hole. We can allow ourselves to get in a cycle, to allow ourselves to play the victim. We all have done it. Again,
Oh,
it's not a negative thing per se. It's important to feel it, and it's important to then choose to move through it. When we stay stuck, that's when we don't learn. That's when we don't grow. That's when we have excuses. That's when we usually come to an event or a community like this and say, I feel stuck. I'm not sure which way is up. And a big part of that is because we lose our sense of self. We start to question our worthiness, our value
yeah.
in the world, because we are measuring it on outdated standards. We are measuring success in the power version of what we see in this life and status quo. Is that really success? So, through my journey with my physical, mental, emotional, every aspect, when my life came crashing down on all levels, because it affected me on all levels, right? In all relationships, I had to shift my perspective as to whether things were happening to me or for me. I had a choice. I just know that when I made the choice to understand that there must be a reason. So you want to ask yourself, it's a little deeper than that. A lot of people can say that everything happens for a reason, can be a spiritual bypassing statement. I might agree somewhat. However, again, if it's a choice, and if you believe that everything happens for a reason, and you can ask yourself, what am I learning from this? And how does this serve me? Your whole life changes.
Yep. Yep. That makes total sense. And I could go, it is deeper than what we're talking about now. And we could go down the road of choosing gratitude and different perspectives and all that. It all comes into play. I don't, I don't have to do this. I get to do this. All the positivity.
But
Um,
again, the positivity can also be a negative if that's what you're also asking. And if not, I think it's important that we speak that into the space, hence the spiritual bypassing, because there is, at some point in some of these communities, there is a place where people get stuck there. And until we accept our own humanness, and I'm going to be very brash if I have permission to do so,
go for it.
most people think their shit don't stink. Therein lies the problem. Okay. So things can be happening outside of us that we can say we have no control over, of course. Yet we do have control over how we show up. Are we responding or are we reacting?
Mm,
And my life as a creative, as someone who has knows how to feel emotion, really was earlier on was a bumpy ride for me. I would say in the last 6 years in particular, it has been, I'm so much more even keel. My ability to reset my nervous system, to teach others how to do the same. Again, not by avoiding our emotions, by feeling them, by giving them a safe space to be seen, heard, and understood, which is what everyone wants, Steve.
mm,
And most of us have not had, or many at least, right? And so, again, multifaceted, it all ties in again with that question, was that you're not going to believe it right away. I'm sure you're not, especially when things are crashing down around you. And if you can't function and you're merely existing, yeah, it made sense in some moments, especially one midway through that I thought, forget it. God, what's the purpose? Because at this point, this is not just suffering, this is so far gone. I'm not sure What's the purpose? Well, now I understand that I can't serve others unless I've been where they've been. I'm not here, if this is what you're
Yep.
asking, on the road back to me because, oh, I want to write a book. No, 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 no. Everything that you see has been channeled through me, has been divinely downloaded, is an alignment where I had to feel the depths, my capabilities in excess in so many aspects of life, so that when I am here speaking, when I am present, people know I'm not full of shit. I'm not trying to pretend to be a guru. I don't believe in that. I think we have a lot of people in the industry who do. Hats off to them. I think that's old. I think people are over it. They want to know where you've been, that you've been there, that you get it. And I've built a roadmap with principles that have saved my life literally time and time again, that I continue to practice, right? Practicing what I preach, that can take someone from a transition at a crossroads and get them on the road back to themselves. Again, self-love within themselves, not seeking outside themselves for it, understanding where they might be leaking their energy and seeking in ways they might not be aware of, often stemming from childhood wounds. Again, a big part of my journey. And get them to the other side in a very short period of time, that most people have yet to see in, I would say, or at least what I've heard from our those who have gone through our programs, who have been through coaching, been through therapy for 50 years and haven't really uh, gotten far, and yet in a 3 week, a 3 month program with us can do so on a level that's above and beyond. So the road back to me is, I've lived it, I've been there, I'm still there. And how can I support others that feel alone, that feel like they want to check out, meaning they don't want to be here anymore? They're ready to leave this planet. How can I make them, or have them, give them an opportunity to say, you're not alone. Please hang on for one more day. Please, let's shift your perspective. How about this? And so that's my why, is that I can't possibly, I'm not here because it's about me. It's not about me. It's only that I've been there, I am there so that they can, right?
Yep.
I cannot have suffered this much for this long without it being purposeful. So taking my pain to purpose is my why, so that others can do the same.
So this 3 month program you just described, in part, is it from pain to purpose, or is it the road back to me? I just want to clarify.
It's the road back to me. Yeah.
Okay. So remember the little exercise we did at the beginning about the 3 words?
Yeah.
It's going to come back into play here.
Okay.
I want you to take a sampling of your clients
Sure.
over the past few years that you've been helping. And I want you, in 3 descriptive words, to describe their feelings as they were about to work with you. I'll give you an example.
Oh,
And
sure.
I'm sure this one is applicable. Maybe hopeless.
Uh-huh.
So give me 3 words in that arena to describe how they were feeling before working.
3 words.
I
I'm going to
know.
say self-doubt is one word.
I'll give you that.
That's important though, because that comes up time and time again, right? In
Yep.
transition, we're self-doubting. Uh, Hopeless, yes, you could. I don't, that was not a word that I would choose, however.
Okay.
Um, Self-doubting, mm, one word. uh,
Yep.
well, but, mm,
Is fatigue, weariness in this arena anywhere?
I mean, sure, on a soul level, yes. I work with amazing men and women, mainly women. Okay.
Hmm.
And a lot of leaders. And what I say about this is women who have their own business, entrepreneurs, women who are mothers, an average of 2 to 4 children, okay, across the globe, not just here in the US.
Yep.
And those who have been, again, all transitions. I would say it's important for me to say codependent tendencies, but that's 2 words. Meaning we might not see ourselves in that space. But again, a lot of part of the work that we do is that self love. right? Removing that self-doubt. So courage, clarity, and confidence, that's what we're giving you, right? On the road
Well,
back to
hang on. There's three on the other side, right?
right. I know. I'm
You're getting ahead of me. That work. Hang on. Courage, clarity. What was the other one?
confidence.
Okay. All right. So maybe.
So they're fearful, right? They're
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
doubting, and they're looking to, again, remember the truth of who they are because they've always had it. They just forgot for a while. That's what happens when we go through these major life transitions. We just forget. And oftentimes we need someone to reflect that back to us. And we need to understand what programming is outdated that is still running in our subconscious, in our adult lives that no longer serve. But we have literally, I mean, I am dealing really with everyone's inner child. Okay. Just picture this. Everyone is 47, 57, and yet when we get into stuff in life, oftentimes we're dealing with the 5-year-old versions of ourselves. And if
Yep.
we can
Absolutely.
understand that, if we can shift our state, if we can pause and give you tools in the moment when you're triggered to no longer be triggered again, nobody can trigger your trigger unless you got a trigger, right? So this work is all encompassing. It is life changing. And that is not just a statement made. Again, I don't have to say it. Again, the people we've worked with, right? The results speak for themselves. And I've done so in a way that people are no longer just another number. It's not just a course. It's a
Sure.
hybrid model. It's way more than that. It's allowing yourself to really just get out of wherever you're at, the rut that you're at, and see that as the gift. That's the shift in perspective. It's turning challenges into victories, right?
Yeah.
Even though right now it feels like everything is falling apart. Yes, it is. And you can't build a solid foundation from the old foundation that was unstable. You got to clear it away and rebuild and do so in a solid way.
I love that. I need one more word because I'm going somewhere with
Oh,
this.
what did I? Yes, go
I
ahead.
need one more word I need one more word to describe. I've got fearful and self-doubt.
Okay, what I think
Before,
I said
bef
something else. Okay.
I'm trying to think of some other things you said. Well,
It's
here's
also it's self-love, so it's a lack of self-love. It's not enoughness. So they don't feel like they're enough, too many of them, right? But again, that's not one word because you have to say two, not no, you know.
how about this? I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm
Sure, go
just going to
ahead.
suggest one. Unworthy.
Oh, look at this. Oh, ho, ho. You are worthy. Da, 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 da. Brilliant. Right there, baby. Now,
Here's
again,
why.
and not all the time, just momentarily, that may have
Right.
just been a longer stint. You see my point. Yeah.
I'm doing this with you because I want to brag on you. I know I want those that are listening that may feel in a rut may feel similar to what you felt between 2008 and 2020. I want to bring them a little hope and know that you're a vessel right now to bring that. So I want y'all to hear this. And this will be in the show notes, by the way. Before working with Adena, fearful, self doubt, and unworthy. But work with her for at least 90 days, and you go from fearful to courageous, self doubt to clarity, unworthy to confidence. How about that?
Oh yeah. Can we gotta celebrate this in some way. Am I allowed to do that?
There you. I like it. I like the confetti.
And let's go
Um,
back to hope because again, before when you said
yeah,
hopeless, the reason why I didn't want to say that is because this is the hope. You're right. And actually, some people would negate the conversation of hope, saying that they don't believe in it. And I wholeheartedly disagree because I think you and I have an experience that is lived that says hope is actually a big part of the fuel that propels you forward. Now, hope without action, two different things. We need both, right? Again, we need the hope and we need the actions, not the whole picture, just one small step. So, a big part of my journey, and maybe you can relate to this, I believe, again, this is just a guess. I'm just getting to know you here, Steve, is that a big part of the journey and what I've had to walk is walking the blind path, is taking that first step without seeing the whole staircase, right? Courage, what does it mean? It's feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Yeah, that's a famous quote, right? You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take one step. And then I
Absolutely.
was having a conversation with somebody recently about steps. Even on your worst day, if you can take one step, even it's a baby step. And I'm showing my age again. 1990, 91, the movie What About Bob? Bill Murray, baby steps. Those that are old enough and have seen it will know it. I can tell you haven't seen it. They'll
I
know
did.
exactly.
I do know
You seen
the
it?
video, the movie, but it's so long ago. I remember it, but I don't
Yeah,
remember it. Like you remember it, I remember it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
about right. I remember Bill Murray. What about Bob? Not sure I dug the movie.
You know what? One of my favorite movies either, but that line is very memorable,
And
right?
say that again.
Um, Baby steps. Just take even if your step only feels like a baby step, it still counts.
Actually, it's not that it still counts in the work that we do. It's what counts.
Mm,
Again, it's shifting our perspective on what
that's fire.
success is, right? When, by the way, overwhelmed would have been a good word to have given you
Yep.
because most of my clients are overwhelmed, right? You see the bigger picture, especially as visionaries, as leaders. That's often when we need a reflection outside of ourselves because we're too close to it. So, again, this is not everyone, especially those who are high performance, right? Who we work with need the ability to bounce back, need the ability to build resilience further, to get out of their own way, and understanding that celebrating the small wins is huge. That baby step
Yep.
is the step before you're gifted the next step. Meaning, we're expecting that all the steps are just going to be there and planned out. I will tell you that one of my biggest bounce backs, the only reason why we're here even talking about the road back to me or any other facet of what we've built here, is because of my ability to let go of my perfectionism, to get out of my own way, which was the older version of me growing up. Now you have it, right? Okay, recovering
Yep.
perfectionist, right? And allowing myself to be flexible, to do it anyway. It's going to be messy. Do it messy. And I
Do
think
it
that
anyway.
I'm going
Yep.
to celebrate, not that you're messy, but let me celebrate that in just meeting you on your journey and where you're at, no matter how young we are, whatever age we are, age is just a number. You are really inspiring because of your ability to do what you've done, even build this network in the short period of time that you have by getting out of your own way and shifting your perspective, knowing that you can. You speak about it all the time. It's never too late. You started this whole session with, hope, and it doesn't matter how old you are. And that is inspiring,
Yeah.
right? No matter where we've been, that we keep getting up every day, whether on crutches or not. And also realizing that it's a co-creation, right? That you're not alone, that you're trusting in bigger things that you can't always see, that we can't always explain, but that some of us just know that's the next step. That's it. Just take that step.
Oh
Trust
gosh.
that the path will then unfold before you.
See, this is we have fully entered gold territory now. And the interview's been great, but now we're coming to an end and we're in the gold waters. So we might have to pick this up again sometime. I'm probably going to botch this quote, but I it kept coming up when we were talking about baby steps. I think it's Mel Robbins that says, if you only have 40% to give today and you give it, guess what? You gave 100%.
Absolutely.
I love that. Like some days, that's all you got to give, but you gave it your all. That moves the needle. That matters. It's huge. So, Adina, tell folks where they can learn more about this great work you're doing. And before you answer, I've listened to some of the testimonials. I think it's on your website, if I'm not mistaken. And they're powerful. I mean, they're powerful. You don't have to say a whole lot because they're saying it for you. Obviously, that's the point. But tell folks where they can find those testimonials, learn more about you, learn more about the incredible work that you are doing in this world now, because it is your mission and you're being faithful to it.
Thank you again. Again, I just got teary-eyed for a moment because you mentioned again that quote, if you only have 40%, but you gave it all that you got, you gave it all that you got. And
Right.
again, that rings true because of the journey I've been on. What has been birthed through me and what we've created has not been from someone who had 100% health. This has been on days where I couldn't get out of bed, where if I got out of bed and just got to the kitchen to make myself something to eat, that was a good day. Where I had to learn to live in the moment because I got out and I had a meal and it was the best meal I've ever had because that's all I had. I had to learn to live for today. So again, I know that there's so much more that we're not going to get into the whole story there, but yes, thank you for taking the time to look at some of the testimonials. Again, you can visit adenasampson.com. That'll be in the show notes there, adenasampson.com. Again, that links to some of our other spaces and places. You can join us in the Courage to Thrive community on Facebook, a private community, which I would encourage you to do. Courage to Thrive, again, community on Facebook. That's linked on the website. You can check out theroadbacktomeme.com, again, linked on the website. That is the really 4-month container hybrid model that we have yet to see really in the industry, held in a very, very sacred, high touch environment. You can find out more info. And I think that might have been maybe where you saw some of the testimonies. We even have that through our Courage to Thrive. I mean, we've got so much, but you can find everything through that website, adenasampson.com. I think that is the best bet there. Also, just so you're aware, Steve, I mentioned this, I think, in the message the other day. There is the book, The Road Back to Me, the book itself, which is what the program is built off of. That we did a special here for your viewers for the You Are Worthy Network here for today. That it's on sale now on Amazon on Kindle for 99 cents. If someone wants to just download it, just to get a little bit more info. It's available in audio, as well as, paperback, hardback. I'm not sure if that's helpful to you and your
That's
community, but I
awesome.
thought it would be.
That's awesome. If you could do two simple things when we get done, if you could put the
Sure,
link to that in the comments,
sure.
and then your private group is called Courage to Thrive. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes, we do a big event every year, once a year, and so it's a great group, amazing group. It's a big part of how we go through the principles of the book and give a little tidbit, prior to anyone joining the program. So yeah, we've got that
Is that
available.
it? No, is that a free community?
It is, yes,
So,
absolutely.
so if you feel
100%
comfortable
free.
with it, feel free to drop that link inside. I know it's
Sure.
linked to your website, but if you could pull it out and put that separate link in there, that'd be
Happy
great.
to do that. And you should have that in the show notes too that I sent you. You should have each and
Okay.
all of those individual links. If
Awesome.
you wanted to, you have them as well.
If I've
Happy.
got it, sure, I'll put it in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's all right. So
Sure. Sure.
I apologize only in that time has become our enemy because there's so much more we could talk about. There's so much gold that we're just starting to unearth. Um, but what I'd love for you to do, Adena, is I want you just for 30 seconds to a minute, talk to that person in the camera that is in a similar place that you were in 17, 18 years ago. That they're looking for hope, that they're looking for a community. They don't even know maybe what they're looking for, but it took all they had just to make a cup of coffee today. And by the way, if you're listening and that's you, great job making that coffee. Awesome. You're worthy. You matter. Your story's not over yet. Talk to them for a second, Adena.
Oh, you just said it. Said it so beautifully. I really want to say you are not alone,
Mm-hmm.
even though that's the way you feel right now in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Moments pass, and again, we get to choose and choose again. Please, reach out, join the Courage to Thrive community, get to know the people in the community that have been here on the journey with us for a few years now. Again, it's an amazing community. Those of like mind who have been through circumstances may have been different. Similar, though, feelings to where you're at in your current transition, whatever that might be. You're not alone. We are here for you. Again, that is authentic and pure. Take the time to just join the community, find out, look into some of the resources so that we can best support you in whatever way that looks like. Again, we give back a lot, Steve. And again, every year when we do this, challenge, it is not only free, we give away a full scholarship to the program. So again,
Wow.
I am here because I love what I do, and I'm here
Yeah.
to make sure people are not alone and that they stick with it, right? Again, because their story is not over. I am not, this is not a money making scheme. That is not the way we work. However, I do, again, because I am worthy and I do understand my value now and how I show up, I want to be able to serve and then be fully supported from it. So again, if that just is clear for anybody here watching or anything that needed to be clarified. I think that was important there here for you, Steve. Uh, but just that you're not alone. Keep going. You
That's right.
got this.
That's right.
Okay.
Adena, I want to especially thank you for saying yes to the interview because we didn't know each other when I reached out to you. Thank you for saying yes. And thank you for being here today. I think you live your life this way, but I just want to compliment you on your vulnerability, your compassion, and your heart to give back because that's what it is, right? You're giving back from the experiences you went through. And so I thank you for your heart. And it's been my honor to have you as our special guest today. Thank you.
I wish I could reach through the screen. I'm a bit of a hugger. It is my absolute pleasure. Thank you for this, for your beautiful reflection. And again, male or female, I see this as a reflection. I feel just as honored to be here as you have just expressed in my vulnerability, in my heart. Thank you for seeing me. And again, giving people permission is just about showing up in an authentic manner, right? With no masks, nothing, we're not holding back here.
Mm,
Bottom line, take it or leave it. It's all good, right? We're not for everyone, and that's okay. And
yep.
thank you for celebrating, again, uh, the uniqueness of me, the version of me that took a while to remember and really celebrate. I'm glad that that is showing through. I'm glad that you and your community are appreciative of it. And I can't thank you enough again for your presence, your ability to give back, the way you serve, because you are very powerful with your own messaging. And that's also why I said yes, is the alignment of not knowing you. I still knew you from your energy, again, from our first meeting, from the ability of where your come from is. And that is who I want to align with, those who are doing similar work and those who are serving, accordingly. So thank you so much, Steve, for showing up and actually daring to be seen on your journey right now. Much appreciated.
Oh, thank you so much. Guys, I want to close this out by simply reminding you that you have not lived your best days yet. I want you to think about that for a minute. You have not yet seen your best days. I hope that sustains you through whatever part of the journey you're going on. Good, meh, or not so good. I hope that sustains you because your story's not over yet. And I can't wait. And I know Adina feels the same way. We can't wait to see all that unfolds with your story. And you heard that the Lord was not done with Adina's story by a long shot. Matter of fact, it probably felt that way at times, but he was actually just getting warmed up. I'm grateful for each one of you. You're worthy of love, respect, and success. Until next time, keep shining. Take care.